Don't stop till you get enough. That is the song that Michael Shacker has picked for the intro. And let me tell you what, the Blazers didn't stop tonight, despite that being perhaps the ugliest basketball game I've ever seen. Like, no cap, as the young kids say. No cap. That game was UGLY. It ain't got no alibi. It's ugly. Yeah, it's ugly. My daughters are in cheer. We understand what's going on. The Blazers, man, they did everything they possibly could to try to kick this game away in the waning minutes in both regulation and in overtime. And we're going to talk about it right now on the fifth quarter. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. You can also hit us up on the text line at 88528. And, of course, you got the YouTube channel. Head on over to youtube.com. Type in Rip City Radio, where Sam says, what a crazy game. Yes, it was. Jason says that was the most moronic basketball game I have seen in years. Just dumb, stupid basketball. That should have been a Blazer L. Says, I really like RPGs. And you know what? That's the thing. This was a turn-based game, and they picked the right one, right? they picked the right move at the right turn, for the RPG there. And the role they played was victorious. I don't know how. Jason says, oh, Chris, do I have some stuff to say about this? And I didn't even see the last 5 minutes of regulation. Here's the thing. That game was insanity in a nutshell. If you want to watch a wild basketball game and one that just does not make sense left or right, that was it. What is it? What is it? Kang and Kodo say, like, always move forward, not backwards, upwards, not back rightwards, or something dumb like that. Like, it's like they get all their directions, like, out of whack. I gotta look up the quote before I say it next time, but that's how I felt about this game. Like, the game was it just didn't make sense. It did not make sense. There are things that you like about it. You love the fact that Shaedon Sharpe had a really good first half. You like the fact that it's the first time, as Curtis pointed out, first time since 2020, the last game before COVID ended the season prematurely and postponed it till late summer. First time since 2020 that they've had 5 Blazers starters with 15 or more points. Jeremy Grant had 20. Tamani Kamara had 17. Donovan Clingan had 19. Denny had 35. And Shaedon Sharpe had 26. So you like that. What you don't like about this game is execution, because late game execution was absolutely horrendous. The Kings are trying to make a comeback, and there's 2 minutes left in the game, and the Blazers are up by double digits, and I look at Sean Hike, and I'm like, I don't know, and he kind of gives you the look like, come on, there's 2 minutes left. They're not really going to do this? And then they did. The Kings battled back, and the Blazers, again, did everything they could to try to give the game away. And there's a couple things to think about in this one. You had some bad inbounds plays that led to Tiago Splitter using timeouts, and then you didn't have a timeout at the end of the regulation to actually call a set. So this is what happened. And tell me which one I'm explaining to you. Am I explaining the end of regulation, or am I explaining the end of halftime? Blazers have exhausted all their timeouts because they have failed to inbound the basketball. Blazers miss key free throws down late that could have iced the game. Blazers looking for a chance to get another shot at the free throw line, inbounds the ball, turn the ball over. Sacramento goes down the court, hits a big shot. Blazers have no timeouts left to set something at the half court. Blazers miss the shot as the buzzer goes off. Did I just explain regulation, or did I explain halftime? It's a trick question. I just explained both because they both played out nearly identical. Main differences in the first, in the regulation, DeMar DeRozan hits a 3 from the corner to tie the ball game. Jeremy Grant gets the ball on the inbounds. They have no timeouts. He misses what would have been the game winner. In overtime, DeMar DeRozan hits the pull-up jumper from about 10 feet out to give Sacramento the lead. And then Denny Avdia misses what would have been the game winner, but gets bailed out by a foul call of all things with 1.5 seconds left. It sends him to the line. He hits both free throws on a night when the Blazers went cough 21 of 33 from the free throw line. They missed 12 of them, many of those coming from Donovan Clingan, who was 5 of 13 from the free throw line. But he hits both of them. Keon Ellis doesn't make the shot as time expires, and the Blazers limp away. Now, I was told at a young age, many of you were too, a win is a win. A win is a win. Does not matter if you win it by 1,000,000. It does not matter if you win it by 1. But not every win is pretty. And again, this might have been just about as ugly as they come. I have never seen just a more discombobulated, out of nowhere, nothing makes sense basketball game. And it's if I've seen one before, it was so long ago that I can't remember it. From Chadley on the text line says, hot dang, what a great team win. Ball movement was so good. I'm asking for mileage reimbursement. It shouldn't have come to that, but we didn't give up. We could have rolled over. Didn't. That says a lot about this team. There's a couple things, Chadley. I appreciate the optimism, and I do think the Blazers put themselves in a good spot throughout this game. In the fourth quarter, up until the last 2 minutes, they'd flexed on the Kings a little bit in a game that had been tight, been nip and tuck, and they went and they pushed that lead out to 20 points. They let the Kings get back in, and then it was just a lot of mental errors from then on out, and maybe it's because you had so many people playing big minutes. Obviously, you had multiple players over 40 minutes in this one. Jeremy Grant played 40 minutes, 26 seconds. Denny Avdia played 42 minutes, 35 from Shaden Sharp. Donovan Clingan had 35 minutes, as did Toumani Camara. And I will point out a couple things that I was asked on social media. It said, please ask Coach Splitter why Toumani Camara wasn't in overtime, why Shaden wasn't in overtime, and why Donovan Clingan was in, despite the fact he was missing free throw shots. The answer to that is Toumani Camara fouled out in regulation. Shaden Sharp, unbeknownst to us, but confirmed by Coach in the postgame, is that he was on a minutes restriction. So you can gather by looking at that stat sheet that his minutes restriction was 35 minutes. So he didn't play in crunch time and overtime. And then Donovan Clingan, he wasn't getting it from the free throw line, but they needed him. His presence was important down low. He was getting rebounds. He was impacting shots. That's what they needed. Very unfortunate for him to go 5 of 13 from the free throw line. And something that you don't think about, Tiago Splitter was asked about that late game execution of those inbounds, the inbounds pass. And he went straight to the fact that in those situations, on those inbound plays, Toumani Camara is the guy who's usually inbounding the ball. So Sidi Sissoko's inbounding one. Chris Murray inbounded the other, and those guys maybe aren't normally in that position. And so that was his excuse there. But no, the minutes restriction thing, which you guys are blowing up on the YouTube chat, yeah, that was a thing, which is weird. I mean, I get it. You don't want him to hurt the calf anymore, but at the same time, I don't know if there's a big difference between 35 minutes and 40 minutes when you've already exhausted that many. Like now, when you are coming back and you're limping into things and you're only playing 15 minutes because you're really trying to ease into it, I understand that. A 35-minute restriction is kind of new to me. But you know what? I'm not surprised. You know why I'm not surprised? Because nothing about this game, like after what we saw tonight, like nothing can shock me anymore. Like I know how this works. I will stand corrected, and I will be on the fifth quarter at some point in the future telling you, like, here we go again. That game shocked the hell out of me. Never seen anything like it. I have just not seen a basketball game this ugly in some time, because it was ugly. Absolutely ugly. But Dubs, Blazers win. That's what's important. So now you turn around, you get to play this same team on Saturday. Things might get a little feisty because they were getting a little feisty in this one, but you did what you needed to do, and that was win. You needed to win this ball game. And they did. So that is a good thing. What is not good is how ugly it was down the stretch. And maybe you take this and you learn from it. If you're stuck in those situations where you can't inbound the ball because Toumani Camara is usually your inbounder, well, maybe we need to do a little bit of practice with some other guys inbounding the basketball, because Toumani Camara fouled out. And when you didn't have him, you didn't have anybody. and they struggled to inbound the ball. It wasn't just those 2 turnovers. It was multiple times on the baseline where they struggled right up against the 5-second clock to where Coach Splitter had to waste a timeout, and that came back to bite them in the rear end in the end when they didn't have a timeout to get something set for that final possession, whether it was regulation or overtime. So this is definitely one. You don't have to like it. You don't have to sugarcoat it. So I don't have to sit here and tell you on the 5th quarter, these are all the things that I like. These are really, really good. Like I said, there was some good. I already told you that. The 5 starters scoring 15 or more points. Shaden Sharp looked good, especially in the first half. Denny, after a slow first half, ended with a great game, 35 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists on 12 of 19 shooting from the floor. So that was good. But again, we don't have to sugarcoat all that stuff, because you can have good individual performances like they did, but still have a game that in the final 2 minutes of regulation and, realistically about the final 2 minutes of overtime, a 4-minute stretch of basketball where the basketball was just absolutely absurd. And there was other things in there that were absolutely crazy too. It was just the officiating on, and again, I'm not saying that helped or hurt the Blazers. It was just all over the place. Absolutely all over the place. And the game itself was weird. As I said to Chad on social, the Blazers tried to out-crazy the Seahawks-Rams game for all you football fans who watched that amazing football game, but they did it like in the opposite way, as where the Seahawks-Rams game was like game of the year material because of how wild it was with great football. This was like, what did I just watch candidate, like erase it from my brain. I don't want to see it again because that's how bad it really got. So that is the gist on that. Chadley in the text line says those free throws, those weren't free. They came with stress. At some point, you do have to change the name, Chadley. You just got to call them stress throws, or it's Christmas. Are there any deals out there? I don't want to take both free throws. Can I get a make one get one free deal, like a BOGO from the free throw line? Because I don't want to have to take 2. That's how bad it got. And I will say this. One thing I did appreciate in those missed free throws from Donovan Clingan is his reaction to him, because you could tell he was pissed. You could tell he was not happy that he missed those free throws. It was hands on the face, a little bit of anger, and you would hope that he can get to the line in practice, get a little bit better, work on those things, because you got to be better at the free throw line. Unless you're an all-time great, who everything else you do, you live with the fact you're a bad free throw shooter. Like, I guarantee, like the Phil Jackson and the Lakers, they lived just okay with Shaq being terrible at the free throw line, because everything else he did was so darn dominant. They're like, yeah, we'll take you being one of the worst free throw shooters we've ever seen, because no one can stop you in the paint otherwise. Donovan, not quite Shaq yet, but he had a good offensive game. He did have a good offensive game. I'll give him that. The free throw line, brutal, but offensively he ended with 17 points, 8 rebounds. That was Toumani Camara. 19 points and 8 rebounds. Also had 4 assists, which was nice, and a couple block shots. So that was a good game from Donovan Clingan. Free throw line was just absolutely atrocious. All right, if you want to join the conversation, thanks to, first off, Jason, my boy Air Weldon, the real I really like RPGs, and everyone else holding it down in the YouTube chat. You can also hit us up on the text line. Chadley's holding it down over there, so thank you. And you can go to the telephone, 503-248-0620, where we head out to Clackamas, my neck of the woods, to talk to Dave. Dave, welcome into the 5th quarter. What do you got for us?
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's love to see you win. I tell you, that overtime was just a marathon. I think Shaden missed a couple free throws in regulation too. That would have helped. But
no, he did. You're absolutely right.
But you know what Deshaun's always said: you got to make your free throws, and it's very important. But at least we won by the, hair of our chinny chin chin. I have a question for you. That overtime was such a marathon. The combined points, wasn't it like 43 points or something? Is that some kind of record? I mean, I couldn't believe how long the overtime went, and it's just 5 minutes. Do you know if that's kind of close to a record?
You know,
at least
Dave, that is
for one team?
that is a really, really good question that I do not have an answer to right now. So I'm going to look this up to see if I can figure it out by the pregame show on Saturday and get an answer. But you're right, a 5-minute overtime, and the Blazers outscored the Kings 19-18. That's a pretty wild overtime score for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and it's just very impressive back and forth. I was biting my nails for sure, but it was so nice to see them grit it out. I think if Kamani hadn't fouled out, we probably would have won in regulation, I'm thinking. But, hey, it made for great theater. That's for sure.
Absolutely, Dave. And, yeah, thanks for the call. I'm really intrigued now. I want to figure that out because that was a wild overtime. Like you said, it felt like a marathon, and it felt like a marathon where everyone was sprinting. You know what I'm saying? Like no one was pacing themselves to survive the entirety of the marathon, all 26.2. Like they sprinted the entire thing and then wondered why they were tired 1 mile in. It was weird. That is the kind of like if you could describe a game in one word, I saw the word bonkers used multiple times. That's what I said at one point. I think I tweeted out, I said, this game is bonkers and not in the, oh my gosh, this is so fun kind of way. It was just wild. But to Dave's point and a couple other points we've seen, as ugly as it is, a win is a win at the end of the day. And hopefully you can go into Sacramento on Saturday and look a whole lot better and get another one. All right, this is the fifth quarter. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, going to hit you with our drive of the night, shot of the night. Still got Coach's Corner and a game ball to hand out as well. All right here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.
Hey, what's going on, Portland? Chad doing here with my good friend Colin Amos from the law offices of Goldberg Jones.
Commercial break. Good night, Jason. Thanks for chatting.
Speak to Colin.
Go cool down. Have some fun.
He'll answer any of your questions. And Colin,
and yes, PDX boom. It was a minutes restriction.
Fathers are very involved. Fathers are getting custody, which is great because our focus is representing
35 minutes.
Yeah,
that's weird.
The courts are
Don't
listening.
See that all the time. Sorry, turn off the darn ads. Yeah, 37, I don't know. DeMar DeRozan was sleepwalking the entire game, and then, boom, he became vintage DeMar. Yeah, Air Weldon, I mean, he's still the mid-range king, man. He is filthy in the mid-range. And then leave it to the guy who is, like, not known his entire career to be a lockdown three-point shooter, to hit a big three-pointer, to tie the game late, too. But DeMar still got it. Quite frankly, Russ still got it, too, man. He looked a little gassed at times, but he was 8 of 11, 20 points, 10 assists. He's still got some talent in there. He's still got some talent. 33 points for DeMar DeRozan, though. All right, going to take a quick little break here. Enjoy this commercial break. Look up some stuff. Be right back. Welcome back into the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you. If you'd like to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. Of course, you can hit us up on the text line, 88528, or go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio. And we did have a caller, Dave in Clackamas, who asked about if that was the most points combined in an overtime period, because it was kind of crazy up and down the way they were scoring. Blazers did score 19 points. The Kings scored 18 points. That's good for 37 combined points in overtime. Well, Dave, I hope you're still listening, because I just looked it up, and the most points by both teams ever in an overtime period happened April 11th, 1995. It was the Houston Rockets versus the Dallas Mavericks. They combined for 46 points in the overtime period. So there's your answer to that one. It was they went to double overtime, but in the first overtime period, each of them scored 23 points in double overtime. Dallas outscored Houston 14-5. So it wasn't the most, but it wasn't that far off, according to Basketball Reference. Like I said, that game right there, the top three, 43 points combined by the Nuggets and Suns in 1996, and then in 2011, Golden State and the Orlando Magic combined for 41. So there you go. That's the answer to that one. The most points scored by a single team in an overtime period was the New Jersey Nets in 1996. They scored 25. So there you go. We found an answer for you. That was a very good question, one I had to look up because I did not know the answer to. But you think about it when you get games like this where it's just absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now, Gidget Slayer says, a lot of people say it was hard to watch. My power went out because of this atmospheric river. So I want to thank Travis Demers because I could only hear the game. Shout out to radio legends Chad and Chris Burkhardt. Well, thank you. And I'm more like a radio legend hopeful next to Chad and Travis, but I will take it. Thank you so much. Glad that you can still tune in despite the power outage. Hope you're staying safe out there. Hope the power comes back on soon if it hasn't already, but I'm glad that Rip City Radio was able to get you through the game and you could still listen to it. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I have great memories of listening to the radio calls when, TV wasn't available. I was always a TV guy, but I'll never forget Dame's .9 shot. I've told this story before, but Dame's .9 shot I listened to on the radio. My wife and I had just moved into our first house that we owned. Obviously rented a few times, but we just bought our first house. We were moving in, so no cable set up or anything. Had to dust off the radio and listen to Wheels call, bang! Oh gosh, like when I start screaming, my wife's on the other side of the house. She thinks I hurt myself. She's like, "What happened? What happened? Blazers won! Blazers won!" So, yeah, that's the radio calls there. So I'm glad you were able to tune in, and Travis did a good job calling it, and I'm sure he made it sound about as crazy as it looked watching it, because it was pretty wild. Pretty wild. Yeah, there you go. Before the three-point revolution, Air Weldon says, talking about those overtime numbers. Yeah, those teams used to be able to score too. Kind of crazy. All right, if you want to join the conversation, once again, that telephone number, 503-248-0620. You can also hit us up on the text line, 88528. We're going to head out to the phone lines now, where friend of the show, Kieran, has been waiting a few minutes here. Kieran, welcome in, bud.
Hey, I just want to say I'm glad they got the win tonight. Makes me very happy, and I just want to say go Blazers.
Well, absolutely, Kieran. It was a little wild.
I'm just very happy they got the win tonight. Yes.
Hey, Kieran, it doesn't have to look pretty just as long as they win.
No, it doesn't. Yes, it doesn't have to look pretty, but yeah, at least got the win. Yeah. Yes, and I'm just really happy tonight that they got the win.
Well, I'm happy for you.
And I still want to say both. I'm going to say both Rob Williams III and Caleb Love. They would both make great football players.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Rob. Not a lot of 7-foot football players, but I could find a spot for him. Yes, Caleb Love, though.
Both yes. Even Caleb Love. he needs to go play football too.
He has the athleticism, that's for sure. All right, Kieran, hey, thanks.
Yes, he does.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
thanks
All right,
for the call.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the call. And as always, man, hopefully they get another win for you on Saturday. They just look a little better doing it because that game was ugly, my man. But doesn't have to look good, right? Doesn't have to look good. All right, let's head out to Uncle Blazer, who's been waiting patiently. Welcome back in, Unc. How we doing?
Hey, Christopher, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well.
So let me start off by saying it's a Rich City winner.
It is.
But I say that because, as you were saying, a win is a win is a win, and you got to take the win because that's what the game is all about. But the thing, I'm going to back up just a little bit. I call in periodically, and I'm trying to figure out how to keep focused here because I don't want to talk too long, and everybody has their say. So I'm going to spread out my thoughts over time here when I call in quasi-regularly. So I'm going to start with tonight. I really like your observation about, tell me, was this like the end of regulation or the end of overtime? That was so cool.
Oh,
because I've been listening to 1977, it's when I started listening to the Blazers and going to games here in Portland and stuff. And it's like, and learning about you over the course of your taking over this show, because we're like, for me, especially in the later years, I'm so used to like Chad, and how the different personalities and people, basically the people that do the announcing and shepherding the team through the whole thing for all of us on their side. And I've learned a lot about you, and I like it's a process for all of us to do that. And that really shows me your passion for the game, your observation, your sense of humor, and but the fact that you really are knowledgeable about it and you're able to bring that together in a way that's very accessible to us. And I just wanted to give you that feedback.
Well, thank you very much. That definitely means a lot. And the thing is, too, Uncle Blazer, is you mentioned how you've listened for a while, you like Chad, all those other guys, and the biggest thing and the toughest part about doing this when you're filling in for Chad is you can't be Chad. You got to find your voice and be you, and then hopefully the fans end up liking you too. So I think the fans have. Some of them are still trying to find the acquired taste, but they're coming along. But those are very, very kind words, and I appreciate that immensely.
Well, so actually, you're right about you're not filling in for Chad anymore, Chris. This is your show. You've got it, and you're taking it by the bull, by the horns, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And so it's the conversation that we're going to have with you over time as we go through the Blazer season. And the other thing I want to say is that one thing I love about sports is such a hook. And it's a real, genuine hook, and it's not necessarily conscious. It just grabs people. And something about, quote, the competition, but it's the process, and it's people, it's life. And what are sports compared to other things that go on in life where they're, quote, more serious, which is like a big deal. But it's a common ground that people, no matter who we are, can cross that bridge because we can share the whole experience, and it's like you never know what's going to happen at the end of a game, which is kind of why sports are so cool. The last thing I'll say about this, then I'll sign off for tonight, which is I've been thinking about this a lot. Like, why do some people grab by sports and some don't? And some people, like talking about spouses, and I don't mean to be sexist about this, but I'm just talking about my personal experience from myself and my wife. My wife says she hates sports. Well, I know that she actually loves it, but only when it grabs her. So it's like, but she doesn't want to acknowledge that because in her head she said, well, I'm not a big sports person. But like one thing that she does, she loves to go to win soccer games. And I go, well, why is that? Because there's a hook for her that talks to her, and she actually was a great athlete when she was growing up, even though she'd never admit it. But it's like all of us, some of us are more aware of it. But it's like the conversation that we have with each other about that is where we learn more. And that goes back to where I started this. Is I can really appreciate the the take that you're offering to this audience, and you give us the one thing we're at this show is we all have the opportunity to participate. So I've talked a little bit too long here, but I just wanted to say that.
Well, Uncle Blazer, thank you so much. I appreciate those calls. And, yeah, you're right. You got to have that hook. I remember I'm a big Metallica guy. Everyone who listens in knows that. But I remember I was listening to a live concert one day, and James Hetfield, lead singer Metallica, if you're not familiar, was talking about the concert and, 20,000 fans. And he said something that reminds me of just the basketball games, too. And like we were talking about finding that hook. He said, what's great about this show here is I could look out there and there's all different people from different backgrounds and different political followings and different religions and different interests all came together in that arena that night for one shared interest, and that was Metallica. And so same thing with like a basketball game here, right? Different religions, different political views, different upbringings, different cultures, all came together for that one shared love. And it's Rip City. And that's what makes that so special, right? It's what makes that special is when you get that hook, like you said, and it drives you in. And then you meet friends, and you have lifelong friends because you were talking to the random person sitting next to you at a Moda Center, and you're just like, you start talking Blazers. Next thing you know, you hit it off in your buds. You're right. The hooks are special. And, hey, back to your kind words. I'm glad that I can be part of that for some of you, and I hope to continue grabbing you and enjoying this whole Rip City ride together. All right, let's head out to Drew, who has been waiting very patiently. Drew, thank you so much for your patience. Welcome into the fifth quarter. It says you were out the game, so what were your vibes of this crazy night inside Moda?
Okay, well, no, I wasn't waiting that long. I appreciate that. No, it's fine. Listen, that arena was more than half empty when it was put to overtime. And, I mean, everybody had gotten up and left except the diehards who stuck around. And nobody could believe what they were seeing. And it was painful, right? Like, that final 11 seconds of regulation felt like 20 years. I mean, it was a very strange experience. And the crowd that you saw in overtime at the end of the game, or the crowd that you saw, at the end of regulation, those were people at the high levels who came down low because they just stuck around because things were happening, But listen, sorry.
No, I love that, man. I love the, you got to be a diehard. Here's the thing, Drew. When I go to a game as a fan, and my wife is the same way. Like, I am not the leave early guy. I don't care about beating traffic. I don't care how ugly it is. I'm a sports guy at heart, and I don't want to miss the next Kirk Gibson. You get what I'm saying? The next walk-off home run that nobody expected.
Exactly.
I like to stay.
Exactly. I've only left the game early once in 35 years of going to Blazer games, and that was because there was an appointment that I had to get to. But I did just want to make a couple of comments about the game. A couple of things. First of all, I think that the center for Sacramento, the backup guy, 27, he was playing a good game. And I think when he took the elbow to the head and Toonami fouled out, I think that ticked off the Kings. I think the veterans were started to play a lot harder after that, and I think that the Blazers took their foot off the pedal. I think it was just kind of a combination of what contributed to go into overtime. But in the overtime, there was a goaltending call that was not a goaltend on Klingon. There was a foul on Grant that was not a foul. So the Kings had 4 points in overtime they shouldn't have had, and that was a foul on Denny at the end of the game. And what I mean is that was a foul on Westbrook on Denny, right? He got fouled. He ran, he shot, he got fouled, and there was a Japanese fellow behind me from a tourist, and he was with his family, and he leaned down to me after the game, and he said it in broken English. He said, "You can always count on Russell Westbrook to blow a game."
I love that.
You know what I'm saying? So speaking of what you were saying about people from all over the world and different cultures and different coming together to share something, I mean, there you have it. So, yeah, I'm just really glad we got that W. I've never seen a game where it was so like, oh, my goodness, first loss ever to, oh my goodness, we won, quite like that. And I love that this game is getting so much traction online and so many people are talking about it and sharing videos and reels. And I like that we're going to have a rematch in 48 hours. I might just hop a flight to Sacramento to watch that because that sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, Drew, thanks for the call, and I got to tell you that if you've never been to Sacramento, well worth the quick trip. Easy flight down there. The arena's awesome, and yeah, you might be in for some fireworks, so you should probably try to get down there, my man. I mean, I'm speaking. I'm basically spending your money. I'm looking in your wallet and spending your money for you. But no, it's a fun trip. It's a quick one. It's a great arena, and after today's game. Pretty cool that you actually have them on the back-to-back because that's going to be a pretty heated game.
100%. Thank you, brother.
Absolutely. Oh, hold on. Oh, sorry, Drew. I was cutting you off. What were you saying? Oh, he hung up. That's okay. He'll come back. Thanks, Drew. Didn't mean to do that. I apologize. All right, we're going to head out to one more caller here before we go to break, Shacker. We'll make it quick. We're up against the clock here, but that's okay. I promised this guy I'd talk to him if he called in today. It's my friend Sam. Sam, welcome in, bud.
Hey, Chris, how are you doing today?
I am doing well, man. How are things? You guys came and talked to me at halftime. You're like kind of a little bit of a weird game, but things will right it. Little did we know how weird it was going to get.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, a win's a win in my opinion, whether it's a good win or a bad one. But I think there's some things to work on. I think the overarching thing I've observed this season is, the free throw shooting. The free throw shooting has to get better. And, there's no one way to do it besides just doing it repeatedly. And that might cut into time practicing plays, so that might not be worth their time. But I find that it's the deciding factor of a bunch of these clutch games is how efficient they are from the free throw line. I thought the three-point shooting was great in the first quarter, first half in general, but just we need those free throws. It's the most basic shot. It's the hardest shot also.
Well, it is. It is the most basic one, and you got to be able to hit them, especially when you're there in crunch time. And that's why it's a saying around town, because the wisdom of Bill Schonely, right? You got to hit your free throws. Everybody knows it, and you'll go to practice, tomorrow or whatnot. And I'm pretty sure there's some of these guys got hoops at their house. You know how it goes. Like if I were Donovan Clingan and I had a hoop at my house tonight, I'm taking free throws before I go to bed. That's the type of stuff that would keep me up at night. So hopefully they can fix that problem. As our Sean Hyken pointed out, there's been a few games this year where they've missed 12 or more free throws. So you got to be efficient at the line, especially in these close games.
Yeah, Donovan Clingan 5 for 13 from the free throw line. I checked after the game. Not great, but I did like the 2 for 4 from 3. That is nice. He technically did basically make up for his missed free throws, minus the 2 extra points that he missed.
Everything else he did was good. So
he played a great game. I like the offensive rebounding. I know Chris Murray in the stat sheet might not have shown a lot of rebounds. There's only 3 offensive rebounds, I think. But his effort on the glass on defense, I think it was that one of those driving factors to the win, and especially just to keeping the Kings at bay. But ultimately, you can't stop DeMar DeRozan. He's always been a great shooter. He's clutch. I don't know if you remember a few years ago, he hit 2 buzzer beaters in 2 nights in a row from 3. And he's not a three-point shooter, really, but he's clutch.
No, he's aging like a fine wine, man. His game will travel. So, that's DeMar DeRozan in a nutshell. Hey, and before I let you go, I'm glad you brought up Chris Murray because he pulled down that 3rd rebound, and I looked at the stat sheet real quick. I saw he had 3. I'm like, there's no way. Because every single one of those offensive rebounds were so huge. Like, I'm like, he has at least 10. But, he didn't. It was just they were clutch, though. He didn't have a lot, but they were when the team needed him. So he came up big when they needed him tonight.
Absolutely. I think that his offensive rebounding this entire season has been really good. It's with our injuries this season, we don't have Drew Holiday. We have one less guy, in the paint getting those offensive rebounds, right, because we have to stretch it out. Because Den's now on the 3-point line more. We really we really need it, and he's stepping up, especially on the offensive glass and defense. Excellent defense from him and Kamara.
Absolutely. All right, hey Sam. Before we let you go, for the listeners who don't know, Sam is my guy. Local high school kid, just loves hoops. We've talked many a time. Him and his sister, wonderful family. I met Mom tonight, which was awesome. But Sam is a published author. Wrote a children's book. His sister helped illustrate, and I learned today that you have book number 2 about to drop. So use this airtime real quick. Let the world know about this book.
Okay, so first of all, just real quick, my first book is called Mrs. Know-It-All's Awesome Adventures of Alphabetical Alliteration. Sorry for the long name. It's alliterative version. The second book is called Mrs. Know-It-All's Awesome Adventures of Alphabetical Rhymes. And instead of going with the alliteration poem, we go with a little rhyming poem. And it goes with that alphabet theme where each letter highlights a different letter of the, different thing that relates to that letter. So A is acrobatics, E is entertaining, G is guiding, B is all sports. So it's a rhyming book. It's fun. My sister got some 3D art in there with some sculpting. So we're now doing a little mixed media. It's fun. It's expanding.
I absolutely love it.
Comes out on the 26th of December if anyone wants to get a copy.
All right. Well,
I'll sign it for you as well.
All right.
On Amazon.
Hey, have your dad.
Thank you so much, by the way. I appreciate it a lot.
Yes. Hey, have your dad email me the link, and I'll send it out on social so people can see that. Sam, I appreciate you, and hey, happy Hanukkah to you and the family. Enjoy the time, enjoy the holidays, and I'll talk to you on the next one, man.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well, and happy holidays to all.
All right. Thank you, Sam. That's my man, Sam. Out here, hey, just a 17-year-old just casually publishing books. No big deal. No big deal. I absolutely love it. All right, this is the fifth quarter. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation with us, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can hit us up on the Rip City Radio text line as well, where someone was making John Cena references. Doesn't Klingon look a little bit like Gunther from WWE? He's the ring general. Can we call Klingon the rim general? I like it. I like it. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Then when we come back, it's time for the Coach's Corner, and then we'll hand out a game ball and get out of here. Get a little rest before we get to take on the Kings once again on Saturday. This is the fifth quarter on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.
Live from the Coors Light Studios. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment. Choose chill.
Yeah, no, I really like RPGs. What? Yeah, yep. Correct. Anyway, talk to YouTube here. No, yeah, if you have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, that's awesome. They'll like it, especially the new one. Alphabet, like A is for Apple. Kids love that stuff, but the alliteration, and it's really cool because, like I said, he wrote it and his sister illustrated it. How flippin' cool is that? So look it up. I'll have to find a link for you guys. But anyway, commercial. So we'll short things up here. We'll be right back.
we won, but and the other good part is that I think we had our resilience to play the overtime, and we were kind of like low after that delta in those last minutes in the fourth quarter, where I think we stopped playing, we didn't manage the clock right, we were rush, turn over the ball, taking bad shots, and they were scoring at us every time. So I think we stopped playing, we relaxed. And I told the guys now in the locker room. So the good part about this is you can learn about these situations and you still won the game, right? Like watch film on those out of bounds, what we did wrong, and go from that and learn and get better.
What was the tone of that message? Were you upset with them when you were telling them that?
The tone was, no, it was a good tone. It was a nice tone. Just, guys, we got to be better. We got to learn from this. It's too hard to win in the NBA, and if you relax just a little bit, those guys are too good, and they're just going to go at you, and you have stars like DeRozan, and they can win the game by themselves. So.
Who is the MVP tonight for the Trailblazers? It's time for Game Balls on Fifth Quarter, live from the Coors Light Studios. Coors Light, choose chill.
All right, time now for Game Balls here on the fifth quarter. And I don't even know who to give it to in a crazy night like this, but you start looking at how things went down. And I guess I got to give it to the one guy who hit 2 clutch free throws in the final seconds on a night when making free throws seemed a little bit rough. Denny Avdia, another great performance from him. Didn't get the triple-double, but 35 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He had a steal. And then he was 10 of 12 from the free throw line. I can take 2 misses. Donovan Clingan was 5 of 13. That needs to be fixed a little bit. Shaedon Sharpe was 0 for 2, so you'd hope he can figure that out and make that. But, yeah, Denny came up big. I think he had, 9 points at halftime, so it was a big second half for him. And the Blazers need it. They needed every single point he was able to produce in this one. And, honestly, one of the craziest games I think you'll ever see. And hopefully they get that out of their system and it's fixed because they get to turn around, get on a plane, and this is the same team that they get to face on Sunday. All right, that's going to do it for the fifth quarter. Once again, the Blazers in one of the most wild and crazy, and we're not talking about kids. Did I just date myself? Wild and crazy kids? Come on now. I was trying to get my kids to watch Legends of the Hidden Temple the other day. Who remembers that one? That was one of my favorites. Legends of the Hidden Temple. Come on. I think it was beautiful. I wanted to be on Guts. Family Double Dare. Old school Nickelodeon was the best. But I get back on track. Blazers played the crazy game. Like I said, a wild and crazy game. And they beat the Sacramento Kings in overtime 134-133. They will be back in action on Saturday against this very same Kings team. Tip-off at 7 o'clock, meaning I will have Blazers game day for you at 5 o'clock, all right here on Rip City Radio 620. Woof, wild game. I'm ready for a nap or just go to bed. Rip City, thank you so much for the calls and tuning in. I'll talk to you on Saturday.
You own a small business? A seismic shift is coming. It's time